live.
Hot Top Sports where the takes don't miss. The prof with the stats, the champ with the fist. More to bring in fire, cowboy, tie riding bold. Bulls calling bets, watch the stories unfold. And it's truly eyebrows running the show. It's Hot Top Sports, baby. Let's get it, let's go.
Good evening, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back here to High Top Sports. We got the Week 8 preview with the boy Cody the Prof, Cowboy Ty. Happy to see you. Be sure to smash it, like it. Riding Bulls, baby. Riding Bulls. Gentlemen, welcome to the show. We have had ourselves a hectic week here at High Top Sports, talking all things Florida Gators, Napier's job on the line. It's been an absolute blast. And I tell you that to tell you this. Today is going to be an absolute banger of a slate, too. We got the morning show. Then in between around 12:30 to 1 o'clock-ish, we're going to go live again, talk about the new renovations that were released. They've been out for about a month now, but they hit the mainstream media just the other day. We'll talk about that for Ben Hill Griffin Stadium. Then tonight at 8:35, we'll have Corey Bender come on to talk about how recruits and their parents are feeling about all this situation with Napier. A lot of great stuff. We're going to keep it hot and heavy in here, boys and girls. Ty, good to see you. How you feeling, big guy? That's your first time live here in the jingle. Big fan? Big fan?
Yeah, I love it. I'm still determined to figure out where you got it because you won't tell me who made it, and I'm very disappointed. You just keep telling me it's a secret.
Everyone's asking. I'm not telling you. I'm not telling you. Normal guy morning, Stephen Harris, Gator Boy, Scott 020, Slime Ball. What's going on, boys? Good to see you. Swampwood, Nick, gentlemen, good evening. Welcome to the show. Let's get into it. What's up, Cody?
Can't reveal the secret sauce.
Never. We can't do that. That's how they leave you. You tell them how to do it. You tell them how to do it. They'll go do themselves. I gotta watch out for Cody already. He's already trying to leave. So
sorry guys. You guys thought I left yesterday. We had a possum die in the crawl space, and Bubby had to go and retrieve it after some MacGyvering with a hoe and about 8 foot of PVC pipe, and it stunk up the house. It was a mess, guys. It was an absolute mess. So shout out to him. I mean, I don't know what 10-year-old. I know I told him to do it because I couldn't in the crawl space.
I said he would do
it. I don't know what 10-year-old.
He didn't do it, but I don't know.
Willingly, and did not complain one time. Gets down there and does that. I mean, just hey, that's what happened when you raise a dog. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I love it. It's good for him. It's good for him. Possum soup for everybody, boys. Let's lock it in. We got Ole Miss versus Georgia. Calango back-to-back. This was a big game last year that he had circled on his calendar, and the whole season fell apart essentially for Lane and Ole Miss after this. They just couldn't win anymore. It was like they had completed everything they had ever wanted to. Now they go on the road to Georgia, who lost their big streak this year against Alabama, their home winning streak. And they have not looked good. Them being Georgia, I think they looked at the best, in my opinion, at that Tennessee game, and they got off to a slow start. After that game, I was high and heavy on this Georgia team because Gunnar Stockton really found who he was, and this defense, I felt like, adjusted very well. But since then, haven't looked like the same Georgia, or kind of just like what Georgia typically is. We're watching them. We're keeping an eye on them. It's a Kirby Smart ran football team. It's very similar to Bama back in the days without the talent, where it's like, they'll probably still win and probably be in the conversation, but they just don't look as dominant as they once have. Ole Miss, they look really good. Nobody had them 6-0 at this point, at this part of the year, going into this. I think Ole Miss was definitely not being looked at the same way they were as last year, but they look good, if not better than last year, even with the people they've played thus far. This is going to be an interesting game here for Ole Miss and Georgia. Georgia has, again, going back to last year, started every game slow. If you look at Auburn, if you look at Tennessee, if you look at Alabama, they have started behind the 8 ball. In Tennessee, they are able to come back and sling the thing and kick caught back up. Auburn couldn't do anything offensively, so them starting slow wasn't really too negative. And in Alabama, they got what was coming to them. They just that team had too much speed around them. I think Ole Miss is going to be to a similar boat. I just don't see Georgia losing to Lane twice. That could be, like Bama has Kirby and the boys' number. I don't see Ole Miss having it. And this is the one game, in my opinion, where I feel like out of all of them that the old reliable, if you will, should handle it soundly against Ole Miss. And this is where we're crazy with college football. Is I could be completely off here, and I may be. That's just what's so great about this year is you truly don't know what you're gonna get. And I just don't think Ole Miss has been truly battle tested. LSU ain't it. Like I'm not.
They were battle tested last week. Washington State gave all they could handle when they were 37 favorites.
True.
But I mean, when I sit here and that's okay. Whatever. You can go to Cody first. It's fine. But when I look at this game, I think Ole Miss was looking ahead. I'm not going to sit there and hold my hats on that game against Washington State. It wasn't great. Trinidad still played good. I mean, he was like 20 for 29 for 274. I think Washington State, that was like their Super Bowl. They went to Ole Miss. They wanted to beat the brakes off of them. But when I look at this game, I think I called a 7.5-point dog last week that won. It was Indiana. I'm calling another 7.5-point dog upsets Georgia. I think they're getting that 7.5 for my reasoning of what happened to Ole Miss last week and what they look like. Because everyone still has questions because they're Ole Miss. They don't carry the logo like Georgia does. But Georgia's had its struggles as well. I have not been super impressed. Like you said, they have the talent, but it looks lackadaisical almost. Like the Auburn game, it wasn't pretty. They won 20-10. It doesn't feel like they win pretty. And I feel like if Auburn could have thrown the ball down the field, they probably would have beat Georgia last week. But they can't throw the ball. But I think Trinidad makes enough plays, and I think they pull another upset between the hedges. I just think it's Kiffin's time. I think it's Ole Miss's time. I think we're seeing a turn. I think they pull off an upset between the hedges, and Lane Kiffin gets put on the map and saying that I own you, Kirby. How about that?
That's what's going to be huge. Here's what's funny. Like Hugh says, if Lane loses, then I'll be off the train because he never wins the big one. It's like, bro, there are going to be no coaches left.
You run out of coaches. You're going to run out of coaches.
Like, what are we talking about? Like, he beat him last year. That was we need him to lose. We don't want him to go to the playoffs.
Siggy's already off the map. He just had an 8-year deal with Indiana yesterday.
We're losing. They're dropping like flies. Yeah, Eli can't win the big one. Marcus can't win the big one. They don't win the big one until they win the big one. That's just kind of how that works. But look, for me, I see people like, hey, they beat Georgia last year. I still believe that team last year was better than this year's team, personally. I think talent-wise. And I think that was able, and that game was at Ole Miss, which was obviously a big factor. Look, I'm not saying that Ole Miss can't get it done. I would love to see Ole Miss kind of beat them too. Let's not get it twisted. Kirby in my eyes, it's very Saban-esque, like where it's like it's hard to pick against him. It just is. Until the Bama game was the only one that I felt, and that was a 3-point game. Like it wasn't even like it was a blowout where I was kind of 50-50 on it. And it was at home was the reason why I took the dogs. If it was at Alabama, I probably wouldn't have been. But they've done better against the spread this year.
I'm a sucker for good stories. And what if somehow, some way, Ole Miss loses only one game and Trinidad somehow wins the Heisman in Division I and Division II football? Like, how cool would that be? Like, I'm a sucker for it. Like,
that's true. This is his chance. Yeah, this is one of those games where he can kind of set the tone here. Cody,
give me Ole Miss. I think Ole Miss or not Ole Miss. Give me UGA. Actually, I think UGA is going to be tired of running bleachers constantly. If there is a UGA team that's hard to beat, it's definitely one after a loss at home. We haven't seen it in so long we can't remember. But they're coming off a loss and not a great one. I think that Kirby Smart is going to be, all up in them like white on rice. And so I bet they haven't had a very, very great time this week at practice. They're probably pretty miserable, and they're probably going to beat somebody to sleep. And it's going to be Ole Miss and the Rebs.
There we are, starting the day off hot, split 2-1, just like I like it. I love it. LSU versus Vandy. Another look. I mean, the fact that we continue to say Vandy and whoever, and we're like, yeah, let's get it, let's go. It's just crazy. And this game's at Vanderbilt.
It's wild.
And I took LSU.
They're favored.
Yeah, I took LSU's favored.
No, Vandy is favored -2.5. I'm dead serious. Vanderbilt is favored in the football game. I promise you.
I mean, that's almost a fireable offense, right?
Are they really?
For LSU not to be favored to Vandy?
Vanderbilt is -2.5 at Vandy.
Okay. I thought it was something. I thought LSU was favored by 9. I don't know if I messed up on the Wednesday show. I took LSU on the Wednesday show because I thought LSU was favored. I feel better now about my pick then. I thought LSU was favored. I don't know if you saw Wednesday. Bozeman threw a massive fit. So he was trying to throw me off my game by pouting the whole time. And so I don't know. I kind of want to take Vandy because after I was, doing the research for today's show, I was like, man, I like Vandy a lot here. I think they've got a very dynamic offense. They spread it out. They spread the ball out very well. Very similar to kind of how Alabama was able to do things. And look, I mean, Vandy's one loss was a great game. The scoreboard doesn't really tell you the whole truth. It was a 7-point game until that last little second there. I think they held on very well. I do believe this will be the best defense that Vanderbilt plays. And that's where LSU has to lean on. They're able to find themselves on the ground against South Carolina just a few weeks ago and ran the ball for over 150 yards, which they haven't done all year long. So that was big for LSU. Garrett Nussmeier is still a big question mark. He has not been the quarterback that we all thought that he would be. He hasn't lived up to the expectations at all. And I think a lot of it is dealing with injury, but part of it, maybe he's a little overhyped. We had our guy from Reading React on the show that wasn't high on Garrett Nussmeier having a big year this year, and he hasn't at all. So I think that this Vandy team going against the like of Alabama was huge because that game was on the road. This game's back at home. This Vandy place has been rowdy. It's been awakened, if you will. And I know I picked LSU in the other show. It just feels weird picking Vandy. Like it doesn't feel right. And I think with 2.5, I still got to stick with the LSU. But I don't see it. I wouldn't be surprised if Vandy wins it. I'm only going with it to stay with past Shelton. But I think future Shelton's going to be kicking himself in the head here that he didn't take Vandy.
He said, Jonathan said, can Vandy beat FSU? Absolutely, Vandy could beat FSU. They would run the same kind of offense, and I don't know who would stop who, but they could definitely beat us. I like Vanderbilt, man. I just think they're coached better. I don't like Brian Kelly. LSU doesn't seem to have an identity on offense. Like they used to be an offensive juggernaut, and they couldn't get a defense. We always said if they get a defense, they'll be unstoppable. Now they have a defense, and now they can't play any offense. Gus Meyer's taking a step back. I don't know if it's an injury issue. I still love him as a pro prospect, but I don't love what's happening over at LSU. I will say if Vandy wins this football game, Brian Kelly better start looking for realtors because I don't think that the LSU fan base is going to take a loss to Vandy. But I think Diego and I think the way they've run their offense, and it's more they run it better than what LSU runs their offense. It just seems sloppy at times for LSU. Vanderbilt seems very put together. And like you said, in the Alabama game, if Diego don't turn the ball over 2 times in the red zone, like we could be talking about a totally different ball game. But that's not something usually happens. I mean, he hadn't turned the ball very often this year, and it was just one of them things. It's in Alabama. It's tough. I think that Nick Saban apologized for saying Vandy's the easiest place in the world to play this year on the game day. And Brian Kelly's going to find out that it's not the easiest place to play, and I think Vandy's going to win this game. They're favored, and it doesn't make sense, which makes me believe they are going to find a way to win the football game.
Yeah, so I put it, this is the beginning of the end of Kelly, because it's crazy to think it's very similar to the James Franklin situation where he's won 9+ games since he's been there, but he's just not a fan favorite. Like, it's very strange how Florida has been more, and I wouldn't say Florida, but more of just, I would say the people around it have been more supportive of Billy for less success because they like Billy, where Kelly has had more success on the field, but he's just very hard to like. So it's very Mullen-esque like in LSU, in my opinion, with how the thing's been ran with Brian Kelly, because I know he hasn't really got the job done, but it's not like he's been just kicking the tire down the road either. It's right there and, missing out on a couple of short ones. But if they lose to Vandy, all hell is going to break loose. Fire Lazy Billy Napier, I did not see what Gators online. If you could tell me or maybe send me the link, that would be great. Cody, thoughts on this game?
Yeah, give me LSU and remember the name, the big tight end we talked about earlier in the year, Trades Green. He's back. He's back for the South Carolina game, and magically they could run the ball again. Didn't I say that? Mm-hmm. That they couldn't run the ball without that guy? They're going to go wing T-esque, super tight bunch, and they're gonna motion the wide receiver in to wherever the running back is going, and then they're going to run a wrinkle where they're going to motion the wide receiver in, fake the run, and then Trades is going to go right up the seam over the top, and he's going to catch the ball just like all last week, had 119 with a tutty. When you have that guy at tight end, they can run the absolute ball. Caden Durham had his best game last week. I think he's going to have another one. I think LSU probably by 2 touchdowns here. The defense is going to shut down Diego Pavia, and they are going to be able to run the ball, throw the ball. I know Nussmeier's banged up, but the offensive line will protect him enough. I don't see Vandy's defense really getting to him all that bad. And I really like LSU here. Guys, we need LSU to win just enough to keep Ryan Kelly because we do not want to go booster for booster on the next coach.
Yeah, it's getting to a point now where there's just a lot of job openings, and then also too other schools like Indiana are reacting of like, hey, we gotta lock our guy down.
Listen, you guys better jump on board with me. I've been 9-1 in the last 2 weeks, and Cody hasn't picked one team that I've picked so far.
I was 4-1 last week.
So was I.
Because we were kind of 50-50 in the Tennessee-Arkansas game because I took
well yeah, you did take the points, and you're right. That's fair. It was a pretty big spread. I don't disagree with that.
So you kind of took a lay down there, if we're being honest. I went with the gusto.
I'm pretty confident about the LSU game.
Yeah,
I
forgot about the tight end thing. That definitely opens it, again. That offensive line struggles at LSU, and he creates another extension allows those guys to get locked in. Look, I think it's gonna be a close game. I'm glad LSU's getting 2.5. To think that they're getting 2.5 is crazy, but I'm all in for it.
That means Vandy's gonna win. That means Vandy's gonna win for sure.
Ty has been dialed in since your 1-5 debacle, Cody. You have not been on your A game since your floater take week.
Yeah,
it's been touch and go.
I do last week. I was pretty solid last week.
I think you were like in the middle of the pack. Nothing to write home about.
Mid-pack.
I should get 2 points for getting when a team's 7.5 point dogs and they win. I should get more points.
No, but all right. So we got Tennessee versus Bama. I mean, dude, the SEC is just it's great stuff. We got to figure out how we can start incorporating more into our conversations because obviously like the Barstool guys and this Big Ten propaganda that the SEC is overrated and there is a point where I do agree that the AP polls are probably a bit biased with how many SEC teams are ranked over the Big Ten. I think
that play better football.
I have never been more excited for playoffs. I honestly just want 6 and 6. Give me 6 SEC teams and 6 Big Ten teams, and let's see which dog comes out on top. I'm tired of hearing the bullcrap. Like I obviously, cheering for the SEC has always been a big thing, but I've kind of gotten away from it because it can get annoying. But the Big Ten propaganda it's getting out of control. Like it's just getting to the point where it's like, good.
No, I was just saying the thing that bothers me about the SEC and the people that they're saying they need to get 3-loss teams in and this and that. The thing that bothers me about it is you did that to your own conference. You put all them in there to make more money. They want all the money. That's why you know what I mean? That's why they made the conference.
Yeah.
But now they're like, we should be getting more teams than everybody else. Well, you put all them teams in there. I don't know. That just bothers me.
So we got
your team doesn't even want to be in that conference. Doesn't want to be in your own conference.
That's what they say. Do we know that's true? Are you in that? Are you in there? I don't know.
And we don't know what's true. How many boosters were at that meeting? That's what I need to know.
Right. We don't have a clue what's true anymore.
Shambles. I like Bama by a lot here. I think Tennessee. We talked about them last week. Quietly getting it done, and quietly, it's very Mizzou-like. Well, they'll win their games they're supposed to, but they're going to lose the ones that they're supposed to too. And that's what this Tennessee team feels like. Again, I kind of put them in that category where I think they are a little bit better than last year, but this Bama team is much better than last year too. And that game came down to the wire. Bama ultimately was able to pull it off on the road against Tennessee. I like this Tennessee team, this Tennessee squad. We need Tennessee to lose. We be in Florida. I can't really with all the things going on for Tennessee to have success as well too. Look, if you're a Tennessee fan, you got to feel very confident going into this. But Bama is just with each week doing what a typical virus would do is getting stronger and stronger with each team that it takes down. Like they're going through, getting new battles and new adversity, and they're finding new things about themselves week after week. I think the trenches battle is huge. And Ty Simpson, again, until he shows me otherwise, he is your Heisman for 2025, and I think that he'll have another great game this week. And I think they'll just control the game and dominate the game. Again, their best game, in my opinion, them being Tennessee, was against Georgia that they ultimately lost. And we saw how Bama handled Georgia and just kind of controlled that game. So I like Bama by a lot here. Ty?
You got no love for Mendoza? You don't love him for a Heisman? You have no love for Mendoza?
So I think that it's right now it's Beck. If you look at the odds, it's Beck versus Ty. And I don't think Mendoza has enough of a big moment to care. Like
if Indiana finishes number 1 in the country, if somehow they finish number 1 in the country, you don't think he wins the Heisman?
I think it's ties to lose. I don't know if there's enough moments. Personally, the fact that after Mendoza went and won against Oregon, Carson Beck jumped him in the Heisman. I don't think they want to give it to an Indiana quarterback. If I'm being honest with you.
Well,
like
they don't
things,
want Indiana. I agree. I mean,
so
I don't disagree with
it's
what you're saying.
It's Ty and Carson Beck's to lose. I just don't think there is enough. There's not at the end of it. There's not going to be enough. Body of work from Mendoza versus Beck, or it's honestly just Ty because Beck is very similar. Again, it's going to come down to ranked opponents. That's what they're going to be looking at. That's what I'm referring to.
Yeah, he's not going to get enough primetime games. I get what you're saying. I totally understand.
It's very similar to Dylan Gabriel of last year, where the guy played great football all year long, even had big moments against Ohio State, undefeated, Big Ten champion, wasn't even talked about. I mean, make sure he got the invite, cool, but let's be honest, the guy never had a chance. It was
the Heisman's very political. Also, let's not get it twisted. The Heisman is very.
That's why I don't think he's going to win. He just doesn't fit the mold.
It's all about what the media portrays. Who's the Heisman? It's not really sometimes who's the best player. So you're not wrong.
He's not sexy.
But when it comes to this Bama-Tennessee game, I think Tennessee covers, but I think Bama wins. It just seems like to me that Tennessee every single week has got some wild game going on. I mean, I think like 3 weeks in a row between the Georgia game. It was a 3-point game, missed field goal to win it. They get to Mississippi State, and it's in overtime. They win it. Then they get what was it last week? I think they were in a dogfight with Arkansas at home, and they had to get a first down to win the football game. I think we're in for another slugfest. I just think that Aguilar will make enough plays to beat Bama's defense, but I think late the Tennessee's defense will give up plays to Ty Simpson, and I just think that Alabama's a little bit better defense than what Tennessee has. But I think we'll see I think we're going to see another 34-31 football game. It's going to be very interesting. I like what Tennessee is this year, but like you said, what they lost, the pieces they lost on defense last year has really hurt them a lot. They have not been the same on defense, and I just don't think they're going to be able to stop Alabama's offense enough to win the football game. But I do think they score with them.
Cody?
I take Bama money line. Is that okay?
Yeah, that's what I said. Tennessee covers, Bama wins.
Okay, I'm gonna take Bama money line. I was trying to do frantic research, but he hasn't announced. As long as he's wearing the black hoodie, damn it, that's all I need.
Frantic research. What underwear is DeBoer wearing?
He's wearing the black hoodie. I got 25 tabs open on Google. I was looking at betting odds. He wears the black hoodie. He's aware of the black hoodie of death. Oh, by the way, you can buy the black hoodie of death now here. Click here, now available. Damn it.
How hilarious.
Hey, are you going to wear the black hoodie on Saturday? Yeah. Okay. Yeah, give me Bama money line.
It's hilarious how Florida, when Billy wears a black hoodie, it's the effect is nowhere near the same.
Oh yeah, that's the mark of death too. The death of our offense, the death of his career.
I thought we were gonna get more colors from Napier this year. If he marches out to black and throwback weekend, I'm throwing my hands. I'm driving out of Gainesville. We're tossing hands for sure. But look, I got to tell you though. This is, you guys watch ESPN, all these other sports analysis. Ain't nobody making their pick based on of what are the other coaches wearing. So you're not getting this anywhere else. That's what I'm telling you.
I gotta tell you all one thing about. I made the wildest bet I've ever made in my entire life this week. It wouldn't even let me bet any more than $18, but I bet $18 Georgia Tech to win the national title and Dak Prescott to win MVP. 18 to win 75,000.
Holy crap.
Holy crap.
You kind of sit here and you think about it and you're like,
it's not that terrible. It ain't that terrible.
I mean, look, it's why it pays 75,000. I've wasted $18 on dumber stuff, you know?
Exactly.
The Dak Prescott one feels like there's a 50-50 chance.
Hold on.
Georgia Tech, we're looking like maybe a 20%, but that 20%'s I'm listening.
It's intriguing.
You couldn't put $5 on the Floater Express? The 5-game parlay.
He feels more confident about this than your $5 Floater Express. That should tell us a lot.
If you would have put $5 on the Floater Express,
I feel better about this than your $5 Floater Express.
That's what I'm saying. That's wow. That's it. They get paid.
Because look, the Dak one feels reasonable. The Dak one feels like the first half of the leg seems possible. It's the Georgia Tech part of the leg that's what are we talking about? But when you start looking around, you're like, we talked about it. Who's it going to be? Could that veer get hot and spicy come playoff time? You know what I mean?
If you can run the ball, you can beat anybody. If you can run the ball, you can beat anyone.
2025 national champs, Georgia Tech. You heard it here first. This would be a hell of a clip.
You drink the Floater Express. You think they can beat anybody also? So
let me tell you this: they were 100-1 to win the national title. You knew who else was 100-1 to win the national title? The Florida Gators, and they're 2-4.
Hey, what the hell did we do?
There's still a chance.
I'm saying, like, how stupid is it? I get a team that's 6-0 in the ACC, but I get a team that's 2-4 in the SEC.
Oh, right now it's this. They have the same odds to win it.
I did it the other day. Yeah, they had the exact same.
Wow.
Well, you've never seen.
I thought
you've never seen Billy coach when the seat's hot.
Yeah,
obviously.
A hot seat Billy.
What we doing?
Defeated Billy. All right, I'll tell you what.
He probably is going to win the goddamn national championship, and then we're going to extend him, and then we're going to get 4 more years of Billy ball. That's probably what's going to happen. And then I have to be happy and sad at the same time.
They wanted to give me a 2-4 team, 100-1, and they want to give me a 6-0 team that plays the ACC at 100-1. Hey. Sign me up for that.
So what is the payout for Dak Prescott and the Gators winning?
35-1. Oh, it'd be the same price. It would still be 18 to 1.
Yeah, I know. I just want to hear you say it. What is it what's the payout if Florida basketball and Gators basketball or football and basketball win national championship? You know that one?
I don't know that one. I got no. You're probably pretty favored this year, so I don't know.
I love it. This is awesome. Smash the like button, boys. We're having a great show. We got Mizzou and Auburn. We keep saying it. We're going to be right eventually, right? We keep saying it's going to be Hugh's last week. I think this is Hugh's last week. But I don't know anymore. I really don't know. Again, if we're Florida fans, do we want Hugh to lose his job? I don't know. I don't think I want anybody else part of this coaching carousel, for being quite honest with you. So
you don't want anybody in the SEC to lose their job.
Eli's on Florida's list. I wouldn't mind it. I mean, I think the list is getting thin. It's getting dicey out there. We already lost one coach to the Indiana slopes here. So I think Mizzou rolls them. I really do. Again, Auburn hasn't showed us. We talked about it from week 1. They can't move the ball vertically in the air. They just can't do it. And although they did move the ball, I would say well against Baylor, which was Baylor's a pretty good football team. They just haven't looked like that Auburn team at all since it's got here. I mean, they absolutely threw the game away. This is Mizzou's first real true test on the road, though. That's something they haven't had to do. They haven't really truly been battle tested. Last week they were obviously against Alabama and had a chance to get it done. And Bo Pribylou throws a pick. They've obviously have gone through the ringer, them being Mizzou, of playing some talented football teams. I think they're a really well-rounded group. Their ability to run the ball is going to be their big factor, but I also think that this defensive line at Auburn is going to be the best defense that Mizzou has gone up against, and that could slow them down a little bit. But again, it's just the concerns of Auburn's inability to move the ball offensively. It's very Florida-esque like. And that's where I got to stick with Mizzou here, to be quite honest with you. And I think this turmoil with the kid being kicked off, the running back, I just don't see this team being locked and loaded here this week. Cody?
Yeah, I think I'm going to take the other professor, the professor of the SEC. Give me drink to upset Auburn. Hopefully it's close enough they don't fire Hugh Freeze. Hopefully they get a better reffing crew too, because that last game was an abomination. I just think Mizzou does everything a little bit better than Auburn. They can throw vertically. They can run the ball. The defense is pretty good. I think Auburn's pretty one-dimensional. And then when it going gets hot, you need the drive, your quarterback fumbles. And it's always been like that. He wasn't good at Oklahoma. You've missed 4 years now or 3 years now as Hugh Freeze on quarterbacks. I don't see it getting any better magically this week. I don't think Jackson Arnold can win you a game. I don't think he can game manage to win you a game. I think everything would have to go perfect for Auburn to win. Plus, I think that Eli's probably a better coach at this point than Hugh Freeze, as wild as that might be a couple of years ago.
Ty?
Yeah, I'm going to take the better quarterback in this. I think Bo Pribylou is a better quarterback than Jackson Arnold. I do like the way that Auburn can run the football, but the problem is that's all they can do. If Amaya Hardy can get the ball rolling and they can run a little bit against Auburn, I don't even think it's close. But if their defense can stop the running game and make Pribulu beat them vertically, then I think we have a closer football game. But I still like Mizzou. I've been talking about Jackson Arnold since the beginning of the season. I just don't think he's good enough to win you games, and they just won't change anything. And that's just who they are. He runs the ball. He doesn't throw it vertically. You need a quarterback on that team to throw it vertically with all the talent you have at wide receiver. It just doesn't make sense, and I don't know what they're doing over at Auburn, but I don't think it's good, and I think Mizzou finds a way to win. It's like a 1.5 point spread. I think it's close just because Auburn's defense is good. I think it's going to be like a 17-13 kind of football game. I don't think it's going to be very high scoring.
Yeah, again, Auburn hasn't given us a reason to put the sock into them. But again, out of all the great games this weekend, it's probably will be one that definitely gets talked about. All right, the Holy War, great matchup this week, man. With BYU versus Utah, I think they're trying to get rid of that tagline, which I don't understand that, but that's
what the Holy War.
Yeah, I think it's a great name. It's at BYU. Couple of fun facts here. BYU is underdogs, I believe, of like by 3. BYU is 18-1 in the last 19 games. They're 8-0 going back to last year, and they haven't lost a home game since November 18th, 2023. That being BYU. With all that being said, I think the Utes steamroll them. I just don't feel like this BYU team, this Utah team is a really, really good football team. I know they lost to Texas Tech, and I was very critical of their quarterback. I can't think of his name at this exact moment. Dampier was not good at all. Okay, I was in shambles because I believe they probably could have beat Texas Tech. Their offense looked like Florida. I was like, what? They could not move the ball. Now I think Texas Tech was a really, really good defense, and so that's part of it too that isn't being talked about. But I'm very high on Kyle Whittingham this year. I think this BYU team, although all those things that I just said are not as good as that, which played a part in that 18-1 going back to last year, as they were as last year. Had one loss last year to Arizona State right at the end, which kept them from the Big 12 championship. Massive loss. That team was really good. Who knows what they could have done? Obviously, we know Arizona State ended up going on and winning winning the Big 12 championship. But I like Utah by a lot. And it sounds like Ty's going to go the other holy route. But yeah, give me the Utes here. Ty?
I'm taking BYU, and it's just because it is so hard to play in Provo. It don't have anything to do with anything else. To me, BYU just plays sound football, and Bachmeier's good enough. Even though he wears number 47 as a quarterback, drives me insane.
Yeah, it's so stupid.
Something dumb, but I just think that he plays sound football, and they run the ball well. And Devin Dampier's had one opportunity to show what he can do against a ranked team, and he just laid an absolute egg at home. I don't know. I like BYU because it's in Provo. I do feel like if it was in Utah, I really feel like that I would take the Utes. But being where it is, I do like BYU. I think it's a very close football game, but I think Bachmeier makes enough plays and they run the ball enough, and I think BYU wins and they stay undefeated. I think they're being a little disrespected at home and all personal.
I think it's one of the best games of the weekend, to be quite honest with you. It's definitely one of the most underrated. I wouldn't say underrated rivalries, but definitely doesn't get the same amount of smoke as probably some of the other big rivalries, obviously in college football. But comes at a great time and a big turning point for the Big 12 too.
I think it's big for the fan base. I think it's big for the fan base. It's not a great eye appealing game.
I think it's gonna be like 10 o'clock at night, I think is what it is. So
yeah, I think you gotta really love football to watch that football game. You know what I mean? You gotta be like us and you want to see the game.
Yeah. I think it makes it even better now because it's a turning point for the Big 12. Right? Like that's where it makes it even sexier because you could essentially see this matchup again in all reality in the Big 12 championship. And so
could be for a playoff spot in all truthfulness.
Yeah, and look, BYU's schedule from here, they've got Iowa State next, who has not lived up to the expectation after and we said it a couple weeks ago when Cody was on his floater bend, they were on borrowed time, and they've lost two since Cody picked him to play in the Big 12 championship. Then they have Texas Tech, then they have TCU, who's played really good football this year. Then they have Cincinnati, who is now ranked after losing to Nebraska. They haven't looked back since losing that game, so they're really good. So BYU's got a stretch coming up here. And Utah is actually after this pretty simple flying from the way out from the last I checked. But Cody, thoughts?
Give me the better coach in the bunch. Give me the Utes, Kyle Whittingham, because that guy. I think when you break the teams down, they're pretty close talent wise. I think when you look at coaching, obviously he's one of the best coaches in all of college football. What he does with Utah year after year, they're gonna play sound. They're not gonna make a bunch of mistakes. I know that BYU is at home, but go ahead and give me the Utes. I don't know if that's the good guys, the bad guys, whatever. Give me that.
Yeah, Buddy says he's got a lot of family in this game, and that it's fun to watch. Last year, BYU kicked the game-winning field goal, and Utah's AD and head coach yelled the refs off the field, calling them cheaters. And it's definitely gonna be must-watch TV, I think, headed into. And that place gets rowdy, man. With BYU Stadium, that where it is, it's right in Utah, or in Lake. Where is it called? Salt Lake City. I went there for a convention one time. It's beautiful.
I think the whole rift is like the same person started both colleges.
I don't know the history of it like that.
That's the rift. I think the same person started both colleges, BYU.
It's kind of like Shannon from On 3.
On 3. Yeah, it's the same thing.
Georgia Tech's a dog this week at Duke, just so everyone knows. They are a dog, 1.5 point dog this week. So my national title hopes might go up in smoke in 1 week.
Who do they play this week?
Duke. They're a dog at Duke.
Yeah,
it's crazy to me.
Yeah, Duke's kind of a low key, kind of ruin your season type of team this year.
They really can. They really are that kind of team. They can just ruin your fucking. You're not wrong. Ruin your damn season. You can ruin my hopes and dreams.
Oh, so Dave Waters said last night, 8 out of 10 that Napier is gone on Sunday. Yeah, I mean, look, the confidence is still there that he's gone on Sunday, from what I've been hearing too.
So why would they even let him coach this week if that's the case? Like, I don't understand.
Yeah, it's the same guy, Brigham Young. Yeah, he created both schools.
Very interesting.
That's pretty wild.
Look, I think that it's just one of those situations where I think the coach respects him enough to let him ride out and do. And I think the culture is good enough where it's like, hey, we're moving on. We want to kind of have like a clean slate going into this back half of the season. The bye week's a good time. It's homecoming week, so there's a lot of.
What if Napier's just like, I'm getting fired? I'm going to coach.
Yeah, that part I don't know either. I've wondered that, and I think that just kind of speaks to
that's
who
not
he
Napier.
Is. It's not a killer, kind of a killer instinct. You know what I mean? Like,
watch him. He's going to go out and score 60 points.
First one down by 3. Let's punt.
No, Napier's going to try to. Napier's going to try to prove to the world that he's the best play caller ever. He's going to be all up in his bag. We're going to see trick plays, everything. And
he's like, we were just waiting to pop off. Yeah.
It's going to be the most explosive offense you've seen probably all year. And we're just going to
And then they hold on to him for another week.
Yeah. What are we doing?
Yeah. It's wild times here, Ty. We've been having a great time talking about it. Yeah, it's been interesting. So speaking to that, we're gonna have a show later today around between 12 and 3, talking about the new renovation and a few other things I'm gonna go over. And then tonight, Corey Bender's gonna join the show because he talked about something that is very intriguing, is how the current recruits are reacting and how will they stay, and how they said that depending on who's the coach is, we will determine whether or not they continue to stay in this recruiting class. So all very, because again,
Ulash. You like him?
No, Lane Kiffin. Stop.
I said Ulash.
Stop with your nonsense.
You
would like us to get.
Quit trying to. You're scared of us getting Lane too.
Yeah, I would rather have him. What are you talking about?
You could have him.
Kiffin. What if Ole Miss goes and wins the SEC? You think Lane Kiffin leaves? I mean, what are we doing here?
Well, that doesn't mean we don't want him, but that's irrelevant to your point there.
Yeah, we want him even more.
That would make us want even more.
Well, I get it, but wanting him and having the ability to get him are two different things.
We know that. Have you met Florida fans? We don't care about what the logistical reality part of it.
The logistics of it. Okay.
We care about Fields.
I get you.
Want some Fields.
This doesn't have to make sense.
Good.
Ty.
God,
well,
it's like
I want John Gruden to Florida State, but that ain't going to happen either. So
that's just
dumb.
Hey, that's just dumb. That's not even realistic.
Hey, it's like it's like BYU and Utah. They're famous for soaking. We just want to soak a Lane Kiffin, okay?
Yeah, I respect it. Let's bring on Lane to game. Lane and game. There we go.
Lane and game, boys. Hey, we got a lot of great stuff to make sure you guys turn the bell on. Big show, big day today with shows and whatnot. So Corey will be joining us. That conversation is going to be great. Be good. Cowboy tie, Prof with the stats, eyebrows. Y'all be good. Peace and love, baby.
Prof with the stats, the champ with the fist, water bringing fire, cowboy tie, riding bold. Bulls calling bets, watch the stories unfold.
Oh! Me too, buddy.
So good. So good.
It's high top sports, baby. Let's get it.